Okay, so my name is John Daly. This is the Game Industry Jobs and Salaries assignment. So I went ahead and I asked ChatGPT. I started, very friendly, just in case our AI overlords ever take over, they will remember that I was friendly. So I asked them if they could please tell me what the 10 most common jobs are in the game development industry. And this seemed, from what I know, this kind of seemed to make sense. Game developers and programmers, designers, artists, animators, testers, producers, sound designers, narrative writer, marketing specialist, and of course the dreaded monetization specialist. Necessary, of course, but as someone who did not grow up in the generation of microtransactions, I would say they are relatively high on the list of things that I absolutely loathe and believe that there is a special place in the afterlife for people who come up with these. So I would not want to be in this position. But yes, so makes sense. I don't really have any knowledge to go against that or find anything strange or wrong with that, so I went with it. And then I asked it what the 10 highest paid positions were. And this kind of made sense too. Game director, technical director, director, lead animator, lead designer, senior software engineer, audio director, senior artist, lead, senior executive producer. That makes sense. The people who have the highest experience seems to just be a higher version of what the most common positions are. So the people who have the most experience, who have proven track records with or extensive experience in game development, that makes sense. These are the people who are getting paid the most amount of money. They're the mules, they're the workhorses, they're the ones who are tried and true, and they're maybe not getting paid to write thousands of lines of code, but to find the one error in tens of thousands of lines of code that makes everything work better. So yep, that jived with me. I was curious, though, as someone who'd be new to the industry, the highest paid entry-level positions. So you notice the opposite here. We see a lot of the same thing, but junior designer, junior artist, junior animator, junior programmer. Which, that makes sense, the entry-level version of the same common and high paid positions. Makes sense. That's how you get in. Those are the good entry-level roles. Okay, cool. I'm interested in a design position, so I asked what the common requirements are for the game designer. A degree in game design, development, computer science, that makes sense. Knowledge of game design, creativity, communication skills, technical skills, analytical skills, pretty much standard stuff that does not surprise me. Portfolio is definitely probably a good thing to have. And I think that's really cool that we're doing these Google Sites, because that can transition into a portfolio, I think. I'll probably have to clean it up some, because I'm sure a lot of places won't be interested in me watching other people's streams and stuff like that. But I probably could use, a lot of what we're doing to build that portfolio. So that'll be helpful, I think. And then I asked about the expected salary. 45 to 70K is not phenomenal. I would be taking a significant pay cut to drop to that. I work for Microsoft in the Azure space right now doing support engineering. So that's not something I'd want to drop to, but that's neither here nor there. And I did ask, what we see for a senior game designer, and $150,000 sounds really nice. So I wouldn't mind getting to there. So, it might be worth dropping down to get to that level eventually. So, then I asked about the programmer, and same thing. You need to know programming. You need to have your education. They want that. Knowing mathematics. Yikes! I do not know mathematics. So that might limit me in my programming. Maybe I could pass that off to somebody else. But everything else here makes a lot of sense, and I think I'd be fine with that. Um, and then I asked about the average pay, 50 to 80K, so a little bit more for the more technical thing. Okay. And then I was curious, how does this compare to an entry level programming working for like a major tech company? And Chat GPT says both yes and no. It's like the elves, but they did say it's generally lower. So I think Microsoft, for example, starts around 120K base, and then like their bonus structure can see even entry level programmers making like close to $200,000 a year. It's absurd. But yeah, so I mean, you're probably looking at a lot less money. But I did ask too, what are the highest paid positions? Um, Again, I kind of rephrased it as opposed to the highest paid entry level positions. And I mean, it kind of makes sense that, the CEO of the company and the CTO and the CCO. Yeah, that makes sense. But then, you're looking at like the lead people who are owning the product, and then directors and, high ranking senior engineers. That all makes sense. So, that made sense to me. I didn't really see anything that jumped out or that I wanted more information on, but I did want to ask, are there any positions that report higher than average job satisfaction? Because that's a big thing that a lot of people are after these days, especially me. And, again, it gave me lots of caveats, but not unexpectedly, there seems to be more job satisfaction in the gaming industry than, say, like big tech, because you're working on something you like. And, like, for example, I work for Microsoft Azure. Microsoft Azure does some really cool stuff, but video games are way more fun than SQL databases for me. I would much rather work with video games than SQL databases. So even if I get paid a little bit less, sign me up for the games. So I can see why there would be more. Excuse me, it's late for me. I can see why there would be more satisfaction with the with this industry as opposed to, like, say, a big tech situation. So as always, I am friendly to Chat GPT, and that's about it. So I will go ahead and get this uploaded. Thanks for listening.